Welcome all of you and to Sri Krishna Chandra Prabhu. I'm meeting him after, I don't know, maybe 15 years.
Thank you so much.
I went, visited his place, I don't know, maybe 2007, 8, something like that. So it's supposed to be question answer, that's what you
If
want?
it's allowed, we have
Yeah,
some questions.
Okay, please go ahead. Can give them the mic? Okay.
Microphones here. Please use the microphone so that everyone can hear and we have it also recorded.
Okay, I can start. Thank you. Thank you very much, Babaji Maharaj. So we just started 2 days ago, like on an intense pilgrimage to Vrindavan. And now we are here at Jiva Institute, and I already explained everyone, this is a place of intense and serious study of our śāstra, which is maybe the only place in the world that this can be done. And can you explain the connection between entering a life of prayer and study? Because many have also, they're afraid of studying because it might be only an intellectual thing, but we want a deep change of heart, a life of prayer.
Very nice question. Thank you. So, if you want to enter into prayer, then prayer, the process of prayer includes 3 things. One is the object of prayer, one is the devotee who prays, and one is the process of praying. So, this means that you have to know what is the object of your prayer. To whom are you praying? So, you have to have a very clear understanding of that. Just like if I approach you to ask something from you. Obviously, prayer means I am praying for something. Could be anything, priti, moksha, something else. But obviously prayer, the word prayer itself means that I pray for something to somebody. Right? That's what prayer means. That it involves person who is praying, and the prayer is done to somebody who has to be capable of fulfilling the prayer. And then there is a wish behind the prayer. So therefore, I have to know you, whether what I want from you, are you capable of that or not. Otherwise, I may be praying to the wrong person. So therefore, that is the first thing that we have to know, to whom shall we pray. And then second thing is that what for shall we pray? Because we can pray for all kinds of things. So what is the best thing to pray? Especially if you go to a person who can give you anything. Right? So in Bhagavatam, Narada Rishi, when he was explaining to Vyasadeva, before he wrote Bhagavatam, he says, Tasyeva heto prayateta kovido na labhyate brahmitam upariyadha. That you should only effort for that which is not available in this world. But most people pray for things which are available in this world. That's what people do. Because how can you pray for something which is not available in this world? How is that one would even get the idea of praying something which is not found in the 3 worlds? Because our knowledge is based on our experience. And our experiences come from our external senses. Whatever we know, it has come inside from outside through the instruments of knowledge. And these instruments of knowledge are material. And the objects which they perceive are also material. So therefore, all our perceptions, all our cognitions are material. And therefore, if we are going to pray, it cannot be anything beyond matter. could be an object, it could be a person, it could be a relation, it could be a position, right? As Mahaprabhu said, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam. So these are all material things. But how can you pray for something which is beyond it when you don't know it? This is the question. And Sri Narada instructs that don't pray for it. So now you want to pray and you don't know for what you have to pray, so what are you going to pray for? So therefore the first step is to pray, before you pray, to know that what I have to pray. Even if you know that you are going to pray to Krishna, to God, to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but then you have to know for what you have to pray. And this is very crucial. If you do not understand what you have to pray for, you will end up praying for the wrong thing and then you will get the wrong thing. So just like Atri Rishi, the story is there in Bhagavatam that he was praying and he was just having a general prayer to the creators of the world, and then 3 people came. Because all 3 of them thought that he is praying to me. So then he was confused. What is this? So the people to whom the prayer was done, they were confused. And the person who was praying was also confused. So that can be difficulty. And of course, he was sincere and he has the right process of prayer. It's just that his prayer was not right. Not right means it was not very clear. It was not wrong, but there was some ambiguity about the prayer. So he ended up like that. Same Dhruva Maharaj, he also worked very hard. Then finally he realized that, I don't want this. So these stories are there in Bhagavatam for us to know that we should be very clear about what we have to pray. So we are studying Priti Sandarbha in the evening, and Jiva Goswami wrote 60 Anuchedas or sections in Priti Sandarbha just to explain what we should pray for. And that is Priti. And yesterday we came to Anucheda number 61, where he starts explaining what is Priti. So now people will say, well, we already know what we have to pray for. We pray for Priti, we pray for Prema, right? Prema Prayojana, Prema Pumartha Mahan. But now the problem is that Prema is of 2 types. There is a material Prema and then there is a spiritual Prema. And both look exactly the same. And both have the same definition. They have the same Lakshana. So even after coming to this place, you are going to make a mistake if you don't know the viveka, the distinction between them. So he goes through a very lengthy process to distinguish between these 2. So now you understand the importance of śāstra. That if you do not study śāstra and you pray, then more or less, except for in some very special cases, you will pray for material things. Because you will not know what is spiritual. Because that spirituality thing, it is not of my experience. And it does not come easily. As Sri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, that Shrutvapi na evam veda kaschit. First of all, people don't study. Shruti here means studying. And then if they study, then still they may not understand. Or if they understand, they may misunderstand. There is a very good chance of misunderstanding, because how we understand on the basis of our own past experiences. Our mind has a habit of comparing. Wherever you go, you compare. Oh, India is like this because you come from Switzerland, so immediately compare. How is the traffic? How are the people? How is the crowd? Noise here, this. Why things are like this? It's the habit of the mind. And since our experiences are material, we are going to read something. So when you hear the word priti or love, now we have experience of material love and we don't have experience of spiritual love. So immediately I am going to latch on to that. This is how our samskaras, our imprints from the past experiences work. So I am going to misinterpret. So people also study śāstra and they misinterpret it. Therefore the scripture says tad vijnanartham gurumeva abhigachet. That if you want to know, you must approach a guru. Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya updekshanti te jnanam jnanina tattvadarshina. So why these kinds of statements are made? So tasmad gurum prapadyeta jigyasu shreya uttamam shabdai parecha nishnatam. So why these statements are made by Krishna? That it is not possible by one's own effort. Sato ne jnanam sambhava. So Krishna also says that tasmat shastram pramanam te. Pramana, the word pramana means the means to know. So there are 4 words: prama, pramata, pramana, prameya. So prameya is knowable, the object of knowledge. Prama is valid knowledge, not knowledge, because knowledge can be valid knowledge, it can also be wrong knowledge. And we function according to our knowledge. The type of knowledge we have, we function accordingly. From knowledge comes wish, desire. From desires flow our action. And from actions come result. So if my knowledge is not appropriate, my desires will not be appropriate. Then my corresponding actions will not be appropriate. Then my result will not be appropriate. So this is what happens on spiritual path to many people. That they keep on doing it, and then they say, well, I'm not feeling anything, I'm not experiencing anything, why is it? This is a path of experience. So, sakshat avgamam dharmim sushukam kartum avyayam. So this has to be experience. It's not for talking, it's not for speaking, it's not for telling others. First, experience. Because if I don't experience it, what is the point in telling 200 other people? And the experience will not come unless you know it. So first, Shabda Brahmani Nishnata Param Brahma Dhigacchati. Shabda Brahma Param Brahma Ubhau Me Shashwati Tanu. So first I have to know the Shabda Brahma. And that's why Krishna says, who is Guru? Shabdai Parecha Nishnatam. He is Nishnat, he is expert, he is knowledgeable in Shabda Brahma and Parecha, Parabrahma. So now knowing Shabda Brahma means knowing śāstra. And then you can pray. And studying śāstra is not something different from prayer. How does bhakti begin? What is the first step in bhakti? Shravanam. Can bhakti begin without Shravan? You all became devotees. So you heard. So now if you know this, that I became devotee by hearing, so now why shall I not hear it from the authentic source, the Shastra? Where Krishna says, Tasmat Shastram Pramanam Te. Pramana, so I was talking about, so Prama means valid knowledge. Prameya means object of knowledge. Pramata means one who knows, the subject of knowledge. And Pramana is the means to know. So there are various means to know. We have our senses, we know with that, right? Prataksha Pramana, we see things. Then there is Anumana, we make inferences. And then there is a Shabda Pramana. But each Pramana has got its own range. For example, the eyes. Our eyes are pramana for seeing objects. You cannot know taste of something by eye. You cannot get the knowledge of fragrance through eyes. No, that's not their range. They have their own jurisdiction in which they function. So we have prataksha pramana, the direct perception through the senses, and they have their limitation, their range. And this direct perception works only in the present. It doesn't work in the past or in the future. You cannot tell me what it was here yesterday. It's not possible. Unless you use another pramana. So then you have anumana and then you have shabda. But when it comes to transcendental subject matter, then prataksha and anumana are helpless. Because inference works only on prataksha. Inference is based on prataksha, that's why it is called anumana. Anumana means after. Means first prataksha, like you see the smoke, that is prataksha. Then you make an inference, so there is a fire. Because we know that wherever there is smoke, there is fire. But my prataksha is very limited and it is all about material things. So how do I know about the transcendental things? So for that, only śāstra is pramana. That's why Sri Krishna says very clearly, tasmat śāstram pramanante. And if we do not study that śāstra, then he also says what happens. Yas śāstra vidim utsrijya vartate kam karata na sa siddhim avapnoti na sukham na param gatim. So if we do not stick to śāstra, then we cannot attain perfection, we cannot attain happiness, we cannot obtain supreme destination. It's a very clear statement, very unambiguous statement he makes. So therefore śāstra is necessary, because our path is not dealing with something material. Bhakti is not material. The object of our devotion, bhakti, Krishna, is not material. Our destination, attaining priti, is not material. So these are all non-material things. So how am I going to know about them if I don't study śāstra? So therefore, it is utmost important that you get into prayer, very nice, but then you have to know whom to pray, what to pray, how to pray, and that can come only from śāstra. Okay?
Hare Krishna. Oh, Babaji Maharaj. Yeah, a few weeks ago I found a very nice short video of you on Facebook, and you were discussing the topic of how to chant properly. Mm. And I was very happy, and I saw many comments were made, and the answer was not actually given. So I thought, oh, maybe soon I'll have a chance to ask him how to chant properly.
So this is important because chanting is one of our very major process. So chanting, which is in Sanskrit is called japa. So japa is recommended process in Kali Yuga. In Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says, Yajnanam japa yajyo asmi. That among all the types of yajnas, I am japa yajna. And Lord Shiva is telling to Parvati, he said, Japat Siddhi, Japat Siddhi, Japat Siddhi Varanane. That, oh my beautiful wife, perfection comes from japa, perfection comes from japa, perfection comes from japa. 3 times. And you know, repeating something 3 times means making it final, that there is no doubt, no questions asked about it. So although our sampradaya is famous for Sankirtan, and Mahaprabhu is known as father of Sankirtan, Sankirtan Pitarau. But Sankirtan has the difficulty that you need more people for that. And japa is something you can do yourself. Because Sankirtan means Bahubhir Militva Uchchair Ganam Sankirtan. Many people come together and they sing loudly. That is what is called Sankirtan. That's why the word sam is used. But japa is private. So first thing is, and I am saying it because I see it, that japa is not something you do walking around. That going here, going there, going on japa walk. So japa is a serious process and it is a limb of bhakti, just like you do deity worship. So you don't do deity worship walking around. So similarly japa, you can do japa, but when you do japa as your practice of sadhana, you have to sit down. And you have to sort of stop everything else. Not watching phone also and reading newspaper also or looking something. No. Because you are actually calling for Bhagavan. Nam namakari bahudani sarv shakti tatra arpita. So he is non-different. Abhinnatvat nam namino. So you are calling him. So then you have to give your attention to him. If you call somebody, but then when that calling somebody means asking that person to give his or her attention to you. Right? That's what it means calling. But now when that person gives attention to you, you are looking somewhere else. So then what this person is going to think? This guy is very strange. He's calling me and then when I'm looking at him, the person is looking here and there. And then you are calling again, so he again looks. And same thing. Now if it happens repeatedly, then next time you call, he's not going to listen to you. Right? Because I say this person is just making a joke. He's not serious. Or maybe he's calling somebody else with the same name, not me. Like Ajamila. So therefore you have to do japa sitting down with focus. And japa is of three types. There is a vachik japa, there is a mansik japa, and there is a upamsu japa. So according to Hari Bhakti Vilas and then many other books, the japa which is done in the mind is superior or better than others. So means, although it takes a lot of effort, it is easy to do vocally than to do mentally. But it is more effective. And the reason is that the ultimate purpose is to focus on Krishna, to fix your mind on Krishna. Because the ultimate purpose is to attain prema. And what is the one basic characteristic of prema is that whomever you love, even materially, your mind is naturally focused on that person. Now we want to have prema for Krishna, so then we have to focus our mind on him. So madguna shruti matrene mayi sarv guhasave manogati avichinna. So avichinna gati, non-stop, like the flow of Ganga ambhasavam bhudavayatha, like water of Ganga flowing to the ocean non-stop. And when Krishna says, what is the ultimate instruction of Krishna in Bhagavad Gita? Anybody can tell me? Sarva dharman. Actually that is not really ultimate. Before that he said manmana. So people forget that part. Before he said that sarva dharman, he said manmana bhav mad bhakta madhyaji mam namaskara. So the essence of Bhagavad Gita is manmana. Just one word. Which means that put your mind on me. Mayi eva man adatsva, mayi buddhir niveshaya. Niveshasya mayi eva ata urdhvam na samse. And after that he gives other things. If you cannot do this, do this. But actually this is what is the essence. In Bhagavatam also, Tasmat kenapi upayena mana Krishna niveshayat. So the whole thing is about mana. Because whole thing is, the essence is to get priti, right? And priti, where is priti? In the mouth? In the hand? Where is it? Inside. Right? So therefore that inside is what you have to consider. So that's why Manasik Japa is superior. So then you have to sit down, because you cannot do Manasik Japa walking around. That won't happen. Unless you are already very elevated. So you have to sit down and then do Japa. And do Japa by seeing the words of the mantra.
Inside.
Inside, outside. You can put the words of mantra in front of you, written down, and look at them and chant in the mind. It's very difficult and very slow. You cannot say, I'm going to do 3 lakh names like a train. So neither the person who is doing it knows what he is doing, nor Krishna. He wonders what is he saying. So it has to be done slowly. Because if you are trying to call him, then what is the hurry? At least you should pronounce it properly so that he can understand that he or she is calling me. So it has to be done very slowly with a sober, peaceful mind. And then you will see the effect. So Nam Vyaharanam Vishnu Tad Vishya Vishnu Tad Vishyamati. That when you chant his name, then his attention is drawn to the chanter. Because he is non-different from his name. But if this is true, then we have to chant it properly. If you are going to call somebody whom you love, how would you call? Do you call running around, walking, not paying attention? So that is how it has to be done. And it's not easy. People think chanting is very simple. Don't move your head or anything, you have to be still. As Krishna says, Disascha avalokyan, not looking here and there, keeping your back, neck and head straight, like meditation. So that's the process. You can take the mic.
A little question for that. Why is it that in most Gaudiya Sanghas nowadays, they say actually, Yad Uchai, you should loud chanting is much better because it affects so many other beings also, and they quote from many places and oh, it's better and all other living entities will benefit from that.
So, but
why is it that in most Sangha, in most Gaudiya Sanghas nowadays it's said loud chanting is much better?
No, I'm not saying, I already said that there are 3 types of chanting. I'm saying which one is better. You can do loud chanting, no problem. But if you want to see effect, then do it this way. So they have their own reason why they say it. One of the reason is it's easy. Manasik Japa is very tough. You'll get a headache after some time if you're not used to it. But it is definitely more effective. And I gave the reasoning why it is, because ultimately what we want is our mind to be fixated on Krishna. So if that is the case, then start with it. Other living entities benefit or not benefit, first you benefit. If you are not benefiting, God only knows what happens to others. So you benefit, then you can benefit others. Okay. You can speak. Yeah, just take the mic.
Okay, thank you so much. Es geht ja um das langsame Chanten. Und jetzt ist es ja oft so beschrieben oder gesagt, dass man einfach 16 Runden chanten soll als Minimum am Tag. Und ja, ich habe mich schon lange gefragt, ist es einfach wichtig, die Zeit für Krishna zu haben und intensiv langsam zu chanten? Oder ich chante ganz schnell 16 Runden, Hauptsache ich bekomme meine Runden zusammen. Was ist einfach wichtiger? Ist es die Anzahl oder ist es tatsächlich die Intensität und die Zeit, die ich für Krishna mir nehme?
So many times I heard, oh, I should chant a fixed certain number, maybe 16 rounds or whatever. But what you now said make an echo in her heart that, I want to take the time for the Lord and not quick. Maybe it's quite slow. So in which way should I go? Should I really maybe stop the quota and I have a certain time and I really try to dedicate and don't try to fulfill a certain number? Or is it another way?
I'm not going to say something which goes against. If you are chanting fixed number your Guru has given you, then you follow the order. Otherwise, I'm asking you to disobey him. I'm saying how to do it properly. Because understand that it is quality which matters and not the quantity. Even in the material world, quality is what makes the difference. So, but if you have taken a vow and your Guru has given, then you should do what he says. I'm not the Guru. I'm speaking in general. How you apply it in your life, you have to consider it yourself. I'm not giving an order, you should do it this or that. Otherwise it will become an aparadh to your Guru. That now you stop chanting the number which he has asked you to do. I don't mean that. You can pass the mic now.
Radhe Radhe. I sometimes or quite often heard that it is very important to live in Vrindavan also physically, yes. And in the last times I came here, I realized more and more that I will not make it in this life probably to live here. Sometimes I also heard, no, it's more a mood, that Vrindavan is a mood you will enter and you can realize it internally. And then I asked this question again, and still also respectable persons tend to say, no, it is actually really important to live in the Dham. Yeah, I would like to know what you can...
So you did not ask why it is important to live here? Why?
Yes, we have also asked this.
So what is the answer?
There were various answers. One is, for example, that still nowadays, a special atmosphere of transcendence is created because of many sadhus living here and practicing. Then also there are many samadhis present, where also, for example, the Goswamis are really present now. Then also there are Leela Stalis and the Leela is going on eternally. That is, I'm just telling what some answers. And these answers also, to me, they make sense. And still I realized, yeah, probably it will not be possible for me.
Yeah, so this is all certainly true, that this is our place of achievement. It is not only place of sadhana, but it is also our sadhya, Vrindavan. This is Krishna's abode. But if it is not possible to live here, then Sri Rupa Goswami himself says that if you cannot live physically, then live in the mind. That means wherever you live, you think that you are living in Vrindavan, and meditate on Vrindavan like that. It helps to live in Vrindavan because naturally the association you get here, the temples and the samadhi as you mentioned, so this is not available anywhere else. But at the same time, there are so many people who are living here and they don't take advantage of it. There are many people who are living here to do business, or many people come here, even devotees, I know they come here, but once they come here, they do same materialistic things and settle down and lead a life like that. So that is not the purpose of living in Vrindavan. So there is something which is powerful, helps you to advance spiritually. It also can take you down because if you are offensive to it. So if you don't live carefully, then there are more possibilities of doing offense here. If you live outside, you can live in the mind and you have no possibility of doing offense to anybody. So that's what one can do if it is not possible to live here. Otherwise, yes, living in Vrindavan is recommended, but living in Vrindavan with the mood of Vrindavan, not with some other purpose. And therefore that again, it's important to hear śāstra, study śāstra. Otherwise what happens that when you go to some place in the beginning, that place looks very attractive, nice, and then your old habits and samskaras, they come. And then you take things for granted, you start treating this place like any other place, and the next thing is you start finding fault. Because if you live here, there will be problems also, the facilities are not same as back home. And then people are also not same. So then you start finding some flaws. So all these things have to be also considered. Because many people also have tried to live here and then they could not make it. Either they leave or they become degraded. There are many examples like that. So all these things have to be considered. But yes, it is a very powerful place. Certainly there is no doubt about it. It's the most powerful place for bhakti. Yes.
Thank you, Maharaj. I would like to ask you a question in addition to the very first one when we were talking about the praying.
Yes.
And if the goal of my prayers is not material, you did mention at the very end of your explanation that we have to know how to pray. And I would like to ask, can I do something wrong while praying if the goal is not materialistic?
Yeah, it can be. And because prayer is done also following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. You see, why we follow parampara, why we chant mantra, What is so special about Mahamantra only? It only has name of Radha, Krishna, Rama and Hari. You can also chant it in some other way. After all, these three names, you can combine them in some other manner. What difference would it make? So when we do something following in the footsteps of Acharya, that is the meaning of being Anuga, then certain prayers, certain mantras, certain processes, they are already Siddha. There are various types of prayers. So Jiva Goswami discusses this in Bhakti Sandarbha. So then he says that those compositions which are related with Krishna, no matter who makes, this is better than any other. But among them, then he says that compositions like Bhagavatam are superior than any other, because they are made by Vyasa and then they have been recited by Sukdev. So therefore, prayers which are made by some great devotees and have been recited by great devotees, then they have more power and they are more pure than others. When you make your own prayer, we are not aware of it, but there may be some materialism involved in it, unless you are very aware, understand things. You know the story in Chaitanya Charitamrita when someone came to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and wanted to recite some of his poem. And Mahaprabhu said, first you listen to it. And it has some Advaitvad mixture in it. So that is possible. Because impurities can come at different levels. So there's most pure things are when we sing the prayers recited by our acharyas, because they are pure in their mood and there is no mixture of any other mood in that.
Where is individuality then? So if at the very end we do have So at the end we do have an individual eternal relationship with.
So why you think that there is no individuality in that? If I follow my guru, I am not an individual?
No, I was thinking regarding to the individual praying.
So then your ego will come into that. That's exactly what I am saying. What will be your individual prayer separate than what acharyas have prayed? You think you will have something very special? Better?
No, I don't think
so. This is how our material ego enters into it. This is exactly what I am saying, that you do not know how materialism can creep in. It goes very long way.
Thank you.
You can give the mic there back to Mohini.
I have a question, a follow-up question. It's on. I have a follow-up question. But if the intention is correct, even if we make it wrong and we don't follow the acharyas, but the intention is correct, so what has more weight, the intention or what is performed externally?
So your intention is correct, and then what is wrong?
But externally you do everything wrong, but your intention is correct.
So give me one example.
For example, like I have learned to pray in a Christian way. Oh God, please forgive me, please forgive my sins. Just an example. But actually, I long for something else.
So why you say it like this?
But because I am not aware of that other dimension, I have a longing for something.
So that's exactly what I said. How can you long something which you do not know? Your longing is based on your knowledge. Can I desire some object which I have never seen, I have never heard? Can I desire it? So how can you have a pure longing when you don't know what it is? Is it possible? So this is how our ego enters into the situation. That it is my prayer, why I have to follow somebody? Even if I do it wrong, my intention is right. How do you know that your intention is right?
Because the soul searches for something.
The soul is searching for enjoyment in the material world. Everybody is searching. And they're very serious about it. Soul is in avidya. Ajnanena avritam jnanam ten muhyanti jantav. So how it can be pure intention, tell me, when it's under the influence of avidya? Everybody knows this. This is the basic teaching of all schools of thought in India. Avidya, asmita, ragadvesa, abhinivesha, panchaklesha. What is the first thing which Brahma created when he was doing his creation? Do you know that? Avidya. 5 types, not one type. So even if you get rid of one, the second one is waiting. So you are part of Brahma's creation. And first thing he created was avidya. Then he created you. So you already have avidya waiting for you. And then you say, I have pure intention. That avidya itself is asking you to say like that. It's very tricky, you know. Mameva ye prapadyante maya metam tarantite. You cannot get out of this maya. So that's why Guru padashraya tasmat Krishna diksha disikshanam tasmat gurum prapadyate amaya anuvritya tasyet atma atmadoharihi bhayam ditya abhinivesta shadi sadapeta. So many slokas are there. Deham durlabham sudurlabham. So it is not possible. We have to digest this fact. If we don't digest it, then we get digested. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, ich habe schon eine Frage da. So, when I've heard that on the path of bhakti, you will also go through the Brahman-Realization, and I wanted to ask you if you could say something about how this actually takes place and what it really means in.
No, it's not very complicated. If you look at the sun, so when you look at the sun, you also look at the orb, the sunlight around it, right? Can you look at the sun without that? So it just happens like that. Brahman is not something different from Krishna. Brahmano hi pratistham amritasya vyasaj. Brahman is Krishna only, with unmanifest qualities. It's not a separate thing. So it happens. If you have to go to the 4th floor of a building, can you go without passing through the 2nd floor or 1st floor?
I guess it's in generic classic yoga, the goal of liberation is to enter into Brahman, like to.
Yeah, that is separate. They don't want to go beyond that. They stop there. So you can stop at Brahman, or you can go beyond that. So our goal is not to stop at Brahman, so we don't stop. It's the same. Somebody just going to the 2nd floor, he stops there.
Okay.
That's his destination.
Okay.
But our destination is 4th floor, so we pass through the 2nd floor and go to the 4th one.
Thank you.
Hello. I would love to know, or would love to ask you, what do you know about grace?
Grace? Grace means when you are inspired. Of course, people have different ideas, but for us, grace means that which gives you inspiration to follow bhakti. It is an inspiration. So when you get it, then you feel inspired to do that. That's what it is. It is in Sanskrit. The one word is called anugraha. So graha means to capture. Like these planets in astrology, they are also called graha because they capture your mind. So anugraha means that your mind becomes captured, inspired. You feel to do that. So that is called actual grace. In the material world, different types of grace. Something good happens to you. This is by grace of God, this happened, that happened. But true grace is when you are inspired. It's internal inspiration. Okay, anything else?
Ich habe immer Probleme mit dass man unbedingt studieren muss. Ich merke, ich bin nicht so intellektuell drauf und habe wie immer das Gefühl, oder eben ich arbeite mehr nach dem Gefühl. Und für mich ist immer wieder das Studieren mit Schriften eigentlich ein rotes Tuch. Geht es wirklich nicht anders als nur über die Schriften studieren? Gibt es nicht diese anderen Wege, wo es wie so über das Herz geht? Oder ich habe immer das Gefühl, es läuft sehr viel über das Herz. Oder ist das so eine Bedecktheit, was ich jetzt frage? Sorry, wenn das wirklich so wäre.
So for me, I have always a little difficulty to study, and it was always a little like a red cloth for me to study. I'm not so much an intellectual person, and I'm asking myself, is it not possible to go a little more through the heart, like an inner experience, and is there not such a way also? Or is it maybe a resistance in me?
No, there is a way, but you have to know the way, that's what I'm saying. You see, if you don't understand the way, then all you are going to follow is your material samskaras, which we all have. So, this priti, prema, I already said that it is an internal thing, it is the dharma of heart. As I said, priti is not from the mouth, as people say, I love you, right? That anyone can say that. It is not something external, it is internal, but to understand that you have to have some knowledge. As I said, that there is a material priti and there is a spiritual priti, and they both look same. It's like if I ask you to buy diamond, and you go to the market, there are real diamonds and there are also imitation diamonds. They look same. So unless you know how to discriminate, how to distinguish between the two, you may end up, which is quite probable, that you will end up getting the wrong one. So this is just an example, and in our case, this is actually the case. Because we are used to only the imitation. Because we are within avidya. Urdhamulam adha shakha. This material world compared to tree upside down. So we are part of it. So we have the nature to be attracted to something which is false and not the real one. And because of our own ego, about our own ahankara, we stick to that because it's very pleasing to my own ego. To accept something which is not suitable to my inner samskaras, that attacks my ego. That's why accepting Guru, surrendering to Guru is very difficult, because it is a direct attack on your ego. Spiritual path means attack on your ego. And that nobody likes. Nobody likes that. So that's why this is the job of heroes. Like Arjuna. Arjuna's ego was also attacked by Krishna. He said, "Oh, you think you are a Pandit?" That is the first thing. First thing he attacked his ego. Asocyanina sochastvam pragya vadansya bhashase. You speak like a big scholar, pragya vada. And he said, but you are acting like a fool. So his words and his behavior did not match. And that's what the situation in the material world is. People say, "Oh, I am your most fallen servant." Right? And then you give him to do something. So this I cannot do. I am too busy. I don't have time. So many excuses will come. Or you will do it half-heartedly. So this is the path of truthfulness. Satyam param dhimahi, that's how Bhagavatam begins. When Krishna was born, the first statement, even he was in the womb, the Devatas, what did it say? Satyavratam satyaparam trisatyam satyasya yoni nihitam cha satya. Everything about Krishna was satya, satyavratam, satyaparam, trisatyam, satyasya yoni nihitam cha satya, satyat satyam. Everything. So this is the path of truthfulness. Because this is the path of love. If you love somebody, you cannot cheat that person. And if you are cheating, it's not love. It's impossible. Though both things cannot go together. The same heart which loves cannot be tricking. So that's why Bhagavatam, what does it say? Dharma projita kaito atra. This is the dharma, param dharma, which is free from cheating. Telling lies is cheating. Truthfulness is not cheating. So first sloka says Satyam Param Dhimahi. Second sloka says Dharma Projita Kaitva. They're related. It doesn't look like that, but they're related. So but people are not bold, heroic to be truthful. To be truthful, you have to be very bold. That's why Arjuna is a hero. To him, Krishna speaks Bhagavad Gita. He did not choose some other wishy-washy guy. So even in the midst of the battle, he is ready to listen. Although he said, my limbs are shaking, my Gandhi is falling down, still he is saying, tell me what is the Nishreyasa. Shishyaste ham shadhimam tvam prapannam. Yachreya nishchitam bruhi tanme. His question was not whether I should fight or not fight. He wants the solution to the problem from the very root. We want immediate solution. Just tell me what should I do in this situation. He says, no, that's not a solution. Then I will have tomorrow the same problem. He says, tell me what will lead me to Nishreyas, that I don't have to face this problem again. So like Ayurveda, cut the problem from the root. So we have to be bold. If you want something which is out of this world, we have to pay some price for it. It's not that I can stay in my comfort zone and I get the highest thing. Anarpit charim chirat. I'm going to get it delivered at my door by Amazon.com. No, I have to sacrifice. Like gopis, Aryapatham chahitva bhejo mukunda padmim sute bhirvrimagya. Everything given up. So this is what we are for. We have to know this. Otherwise simply you pray, then when you give, then you get scared, oh my God, I didn't want this. I thought it was easy. See how Krishna did to the gopis? He stole their dress. Somebody does this to you, you will go to the court, call the police. But the gopis did not. Up to that extent, he tested them. He treated them just like dolls. Make them naked. So that is the requirement for Priti. Sarva dharman. My istri dharma, my varnashram dharma, my this dharma. I want you only. You can do anything to me. Ashlasya vapadaratam pranashtu mam adarshanath marmatam karotu va. Yatha tatha viddhatu mat pranathastu saeva napara. This is the price to be paid. So we should know this and then decide whether we really want to go for it or not. Otherwise we remain in illusion, and then we're thinking, I'm going to become a manjari. It needs qualification.
Babaji Maharaj, there's like two aspects in our spiritual life. One side is like longing, deep longing, but a person who speaks about this, it can also be many covered by material longing. It doesn't mean the pure longing. And the other side is like atmaramata, to be like satisfied in oneself, to be like fully peaceful and in myself. But it actually can also be a dullness that I don't want to be. Can you maybe explain something on the relationship of these two aspects for our bhakti?
Yes, the bhakti is of various types. So this Atmaramta is Shanta Bhakti, peacefulness. And this is Ashanta Bhakti. On path of love, forget about Shanti. If you want Shanti, go for Shanta Bhakti. That's why the name is given, peaceful devotion. But that peaceful devotion is good, but this is something much higher. From there you go further. It is Anukullena Krishna Anusilnam. How are you going? You are peaceful, at the same time you have a longing. Peacefulness is just part of it. It's not that there is no peacefulness in it. It is most peaceful. But it is more than that. So it includes that part, but it doesn't stop there. That's just like he was asking. So that Brahmagyan is there in it, but it doesn't stop at Brahmagyan. It goes beyond. Therefore it is much more relishable than that. So much relishable that you don't stop. That longing is also relishable. It's not longing here where it looks externally, it looks suffering, but that is also, they are relishing that. So that's how it is. Okay, I have to go now.
Thank you so much. We mainly came to Vrindavan for Krishna Bhakti Janma Mula Hoya Sadhu Sangha. The main point of inspiration in Krishna Bhakti is meeting sadhus, and thank you very much for
my pleasure.
Accompanying our pilgrimage here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and wish you well your stay in Vrindavan and take benefit of being in this holy land. Hare Krishna.